Hi, I'm Rob Stapleton for your Alaska Aviation Link. In this edition, we're going to visit a shop that has a history of working on legacy aviation instruments. While current aviation manufacturing and kit aircraft are switching to all-glass digital cockpit monitoring instrumentation, Nate Nickel at Instrument Services offers some advice and service to owners of 50 and 60-year-old aircraft using the steam gauge type instruments.
Just about every airplane that you look at over on Merrifield or on Lakewood or even down at the International Airport that's not relatively new is going to have old equipment. And there's nothing wrong with the old equipment. In fact, it's built better, it's often more reliable as long as it gets maintained well. And from my perspective, it just plain looks better. It belongs in the airplane. If you got old equipment, I'm your guy.
Working on aviation instruments is not a job or just a business to Nate. It's a passion of a lifetime.
In here, just more tools. This is a gyroscope rotor balancer. And then I've got some other various tools for setting the bearing preload and some other odds and ends. Stuff that goes to North Slope by default always goes in the freezer, and I freeze it down to about 40 below. That's got a fast freeze mode on it, and then I'll run them to make sure they're going to spin up and things are going to work good. Some instruments are hermetically sealed and they require inert gas. This is reference library. This is the stuff that I have on paper. Everything else is on CD-ROM, or it's on my hard drives, or it's online. This is just for the antique equipment, more or less.
Nate says that knowing the instruments inside and out, whether assembling or disassembling the older instruments, offer reliability, and he also thinks they're easier to fix.
Old stuff, love it. I don't do any glass, so anything that's new or proprietary manufactured stuff usually has to go back to the manufacturer for service. It's not fun for me to mess around with that kind of stuff. And I really get my kicks turning screws on this old equipment. The young guys, they just don't get it. And they look at this thing and they're like, I don't want to figure out how that works. I'm just going to sell you this other gadget to put in your airplane and it'll replace all these other things. Well, you lose some redundancy when you do that. So now you're focusing everything on one instrument that contains all these functions. If your little piece of new glass gadget dies, then you have nothing.
We talked to Nate at Instrument Services Incorporated about legacy aviation instruments, their calibration, and how they're fixed, and how durable they are. I'm Rob Stapleton for your Alaska Aviation Link.